Hi, I want to introduce you to my version of the benchtop bench. Some people might call it a mini bench. The point of this bench on a bench is that it raises the work surface. Normally you have to be down here sanding, doing detailed work, and what they all have in common down here is bending over, or like this with the neck down. I'm down like this, I have to look way down. If, for instance, I could raise the level, it's just much more relaxed for the body, the back, the neck. I have all of my handy instruments in here that help keep everything all in one place. I got the original idea for the bench from some other YouTubers, and I want to thank them. And I found some issues and some ways I think I can improve on that, and I'd like to share that here. Since I've made this, it's become an essential part of every project. This whole project starts with a basic bench. A bench has a top. This is very thick, 2-inch hardwood. The vise is about 3 inches of a rosewood, also a very hard wood. It has legs and cross supports, so there's plenty of support for the top and for the vise itself. And the only thing I would say is don't skimp on the vise. Get a good vise, because the vise is the key. That's something to use over and over. If it racks more or less, it's more or less fun or more or less effective. Once we have a good bench, the next obvious thing is keeping it from moving around too much. Yeah, you could leave it like this if you were just writing or measuring, but if you start hammering or doing other work on here, you're probably going to want this to be stable. Some people will take some clamps and clamp them to the front or the side of a workbench, and that's one way to handle things. The only thing about that I noticed is that now the bench needs to be just on the front surface, and it's not very easy to move around compared to what I've come up with. So I thought to myself, well, what's an easier way to anchor this bench to this bench? Well, one thing I've got going, there's two things I got going for me. These legs are rock solid, and so is this vise. So I've come up with what I think is a good solution. These channels here sit underneath the leg, and then it goes in the vise and it locks it down. Let me show you what that's like in action. If I put this vise in the vise here, this board will be controlled by the vise, and this will keep it from moving around once it's on here. So let me show you what we do. Just kind of come over here and put this on to where it's right in the middle, and then notice this. I lock this down, bench going nowhere. It is solid, it's ready to go. If I need a little extra room, slide it back. I want to get, there are times when I need it to be closer for writing. Now I can move this around all I want, get a little extra room on my bench for working, and I've got all that flexibility. It's so easy, and if I want, I could just lift this off of here and I'm done. Once you get a bench, you can start using it. You've got a vise, you've got a holding surface, you're raised in your level, so it's much better on the back and the neck. But what I found was I was constantly going to another drawer across the shop and grabbing measuring equipment and pens and pencils and things like that. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to use this dead area here for storage? So that's what we're going to talk about next. Now, part of the storage that I've come up with is just a rail system here. These will act as guides for drawers to go into. So if I were to take this and just stick it in here, because there's already room, and then take this other one that's opposing. Now you might say, hey, it's not very solid because they could just dump out. Yeah, they could dump out. The trick is when the drawer is in there, the drawer will be pushing out, and then these legs will keep it from moving. So basically that's it. I've made these drawers out of some scrap wood. It looks pretty nice. It's a curly maple, and basically put it all together, and they just ride along the rails here to give me these nice smooth drawers that hold everything that you need for doing this kind of work right where it's needed. And that's fantastic. So in here I have some bench dogs. So now I can clamp a piece on the top for sanding or routing or whatever needs to be done there. I can clamp here, and there I go. So I've got all my parts, measuring, marking, everything I need in the storage here. That's my benchtop bench with storage, good hold, and a way to lock down your work and bring it at an appropriate height that's more comfortable. I found it very useful. I hope you make a benchtop bench of your own.